When we design programs that are meant to help children, the intentions are always good. But what if the very design of that help could accidentally create new risks? That's the huge question we're diving into today. We're going to break down a framework called child-safe programming, which is all about building safety right into a project's DNA, from the very first moment.
So, here's the game plan. First up, we'll get a clear definition of what safe programming actually is. Then, we'll tackle a really crucial distinction that trips a lot of people up. We'll figure out whose job this all is, look at the core principles that guide the work, and finally, see how safety gets built into every single step of a project.
All right, let's start with the big one. What exactly is safe programming? It really all comes down to this massive challenge. How do you make sure that any activity you're running, whether it's for education or humanitarian aid or advocacy, doesn't just avoid causing harm, but actually helps create a safer environment for kids?
So here's the official definition. It's about making sure everything an organization does is designed to protect children. But the key words here are deliberate and inadvertent actions. And that last part, that's the real game changer.
I mean, think about it. It's one thing to stop obvious intentional harm from happening, but the real shift in thinking here is all about seeing and stopping the unintentional risks, the ones that can pop up just because of how a program is designed or run.
Now, this brings us to a super important point, and it's where things can get a little confusing. People often mix up child-safe programming with child protection programming. They sound almost the same, right? But as you're about to see, they are worlds apart in how they work.
Okay, let's break this down. On the left, you've got child-safe programming. This is proactive. It's like a layer of safety that gets applied to every single program an organization runs, no matter what it is. It's all about preventing harm before it can even start. Now, on the right, you have child protection programming. This is specialized and reactive. It's the vital work of responding after something has already happened. The easiest way to think of it is this. One is building a fence at the top of a cliff, the other is parking an ambulance at the bottom.
Okay, so if this is something that has to be applied to everything, that begs a pretty important question about who's actually in charge of it all.
So, whose job is this anyway? Is there a specific department for this? Is it one person's role? Well, the answer might actually surprise you.
The answer is pretty much everyone. This isn't just a task for the folks working directly with kids. It is an organization-wide responsibility. It means HR has to do safe recruitment, leadership has to set the culture, and even the finance team needs to make sure there's a budget for safety measures. It's a thread that has to be woven through every single part of the organization.
So if everybody is involved, what's the North Star? What are the core values that keep everyone on the same page and driving in the same direction?
This quote just nails it. An organization has to answer to donors, to governments, to partners, but this framework makes it crystal clear. The number one primary accountability is to the children they serve, period. That single idea changes everything.
And that core idea, that accountability to children comes first, blossoms into these key principles. It's all about being rooted in children's rights, promoting a child's own voice and ability to act, and making sure gender equality is upheld. But the most important piece here is that child safeguarding isn't just an add-on or another box to tick. It's the very foundation everything else is built on.
Okay, we've covered the what, the why, and the who. Let's get down to brass tacks and talk about the how. How does this actually get integrated into the real-world life of a project?
You see, safety isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a constant cycle. Right at the beginning, during the assessment, you might identify a risk, say a long, unlit walk to a facility. So in the design phase, you build in a solution, like arranging safe transportation. Then, during implementation, you're constantly monitoring that solution to make sure it's actually working. And even at the very end, during closeout, you're taking notes and learning lessons for the next time. It's this continuous loop of finding risks, fixing them, and learning.
So, let's wrap this up with the absolute essentials. First, safe programming is proactive, not reactive. Remember, it's the fence, not the ambulance. Second, it protects against both deliberate and, so importantly, inadvertent harm. Third, it is a shared responsibility. It is everyone's job. And finally, safety isn't a single step. It has to be embedded in every stage of a program's life.
And that leaves us with one final big thought to chew on. If we truly build safety into the architecture of our programs right from the very beginning, how does that fundamentally change our entire idea of what it even means to help?